Yo, what is going on? It's been a long time, but welcome into the show. You already know what it is. You know who I am, the sensational Sentell Whiteman. I want to thank everybody on YouTube, of course, for getting in on the show. And I'm also broadcasting live on Facebook. Thought it would be a neat idea to do. So a little simulcast thing going on as we speak. Lots to get into in the program today. Lots to talk about. But before we really get into the show, before we really dive into it, I have a statement to make. I have something I have to say. I have something I need to get off my chest before we get into the program real heavy. And y'all gotta bear with me, because you know I don't write stuff down. But I wrote this down because it's really important for me to say this before I start this show. I have to say this. I have to get this off my chest. I have a confession to make. I have been unfaithful. That is, I've been unfaithful. I have not been loyal. I have not been the man that I've always said I would be. I have strayed away from what is supposed to be the love of my life and my everything. And for that, I want to say that I am extremely sorry. I want to tell sports that never again will I put it second. I will never take it for granted again. You have always and will be my first love. And I promise you that I won't ever forget that again. So sports, please forgive me and accept me back in your heart. Moving forward, I know that I can do better and I will do better. So, again, to sports, I want to say I'm sorry. Forgive me. You have always been my love. And for some reason, I just forgot how important you was to me. But I promise you that it will not happen again. You are the love of my life. I would not put you first. I would not put you second again. You will always be first in my heart. So sports, please forgive me. I am back. You have my undivided attention. And let's get this thing started like we know how to do around here. Let's get this show started for real though. Sentell, baby. And with that, we say welcome to the hottest sports podcast in the South. Sentell's Intel right here live on YouTube. I know what you people on Facebook are thinking. Wait a minute. We on Facebook too? Yes, I am also broadcasting live on Facebook. This is a simulcast. This is what it's called. But if you're on YouTube, hello. Thank you for watching this all the way to all my subscribers out there. And hello to Facebook for watching the hottest sports podcast in the South, Sentell's Intel. But you guys on Facebook, you don't get to see all the glitz and fancy stuff that we have on YouTube. So if you go over to YouTube, you can see some really nice stuff, graphic-wise and detail-wise. Otherwise, you're just seeing my face. You're just seeing me right here. And that's cool. That's good. But if you go over to YouTube, it's just a lot better viewing experience. That's all I'm trying to tell you. Just go over there. It's a lot better viewing experience. Welcome into the show. Man, you know, crazy, right? You got so much going on right now. Hey, NCAA tournament going on. Games are going on as we speak. I got lots of things to talk about. I've been gone for a long time. I didn't realize how long I had been gone. But again, I had to go out and charge my battery and refresh myself because I was feeling burnt out a little bit. But I'm back and I'm full effect. Games on live right now, NCAA tournament. Buffalo is about to defeat Arizona State. They are up by 21. I'm in the second half, 76-55. We also have Wisconsin and Oregon are in the second half. Oregon leads by 5. Yesterday's action from the tournament, Gonzaga Easily beat it fairly. Dickerson, 87-49. Michigan State, after getting a bit of a scare from Bradley, pulls away late, wins 76-65. Kentucky was all over Abilene Christian, 79-44. Michigan defeated Montana 74-55. LSU got by Yale 79-74. Purdue was over Old Dominion 61-48. Auburn tried to give away a game. Well, New Mexico State actually tried to give the game away, but they pulled out the win 78-77, and was a closely contested ball game, but a lot of errors down the stretch. And Kansas destroyed Northeastern 87-53. The Wofford Terriers got a big win last night. Shot the ball really, really well. Beat Seton Hall 84-68. That game was a lot closer than the score indicates, because down the stretch, Wofford just hit a lot of threes to kind of pull away toward the end. Florida was over Nevada 70-61. Villanova sweep past St. Mary's 61-57. In the Minnesota-Louisville game, Minnesota beats Louisville 86-76. That's Richard Pitino, who coaches Minnesota, defeating Rick Pitino's old team Louisville. So there you go. Murray State, led by John Morant, defeated Marquette 83-64, 12-5 matchup, and that game was not really even competitive. Baylor defeated Syracuse 78-69. Maryland over Belmont 79-77. We'll get you caught up to date on the day's contest as well. Tonight at 7 o'clock, the number 1 overall seed Duke Blue Devils will be in action tonight against North Dakota State. And for you Tar Heel fans, at approximately 9:20 p.m., they will kick off their tournament playing Iona up in Columbus, Ohio. So you are basically almost all caught up with all the NCAA action from yesterday and today. But I really want to focus. I want to start with this, kind of focus on John Morant yesterday on the show, and people are already comparing him to some of the great point guards of all time, some of the great guards in the league today. On the season, the kid was sensational. He averaged 24.5 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 10 assists. So he is the legit real deal. But what I want to focus on about that guy is he's from South Carolina, just like Zion. And a guy we don't really mention, Trey McGowan, a guy who we really don't mention, who's up at Pitt. He's also from South Carolina. So I'm just wondering, and I want to ask this question, South Carolina and Clemson both did not make the tournament. And then when you see these guys from Carolina having all this success, it just makes you wonder, what's going on. So, I mean, if you want to discuss that, comments, question about John Morant, trying to figure out why, Clemson and Carolina neither had the foresight to try to get this kid. This kid ends up at Murray State. Of course, Zion's at Duke. No, Trey McGowan's at Pitt. But just those guys are right here in our backyard, upstate South Carolina, for Zion and Trey. And Clemson nor South Carolina got either of those guys. So just makes you wonder. And I'm saying, if you got opinion on that, I would love to hear it. Man, lots of guys. I mean, we got so much going on, man. So much going on right now. The NCAA tournament is just, it is what it is. One of the best times of the year. You get a lot of Cinderellas. We had our first big true upset of the tournament today. We had UC Irvine, the 13th seed, knocked off the number 4 seed Kansas State, who tied for the regular season title in the Big 12. So that's the first big upset of the tournaments thus far, and I'm sure there'll be more to come. My bracket looks a mess. I'm gonna give you my picks my picks and my bracket. It's a mess right now, but my Final Four teams are still kicking. Virginia today, if you didn't see that, came out early. We're down 30-16 early to Gardner Webb, and they managed to get themselves righted in the second half and win the game, kind of going away. But had to be a terrifying feeling. Had to be a terrifying feeling for the UVA fan base, and the thoughts of them actually losing to a 16 seed again. I mean, that would have been just horrible. That would have been just bad, right? Lose to a 16 seed again, second year, when it haven't happened ever, and you lose last year, and then you down early this year. But they managed to rally, get back in the mix of the game, and win going away. If you guys want to get in your comment or with your bracket, your Final Four picks, I'm gonna give you my Final Four picks. Then if you have some your Final Four picks, you comment them right there on Facebook. I can see it. And if you're also on YouTube, I can also see you right here on YouTube with your comments and your questions. And at any point during the show, you can ask questions, you can comment. No phone calls today, obviously for obvious reasons. But the first hour of the show, I will be on Facebook Live. The second hour of the show, we will switch only to all over. Everything will be on YouTube only after the first hour of the show. But if you join on Facebook, I appreciate you. But this is not a good viewing experience. You're just looking at my face. But if you're on YouTube, you get all this pretty stuff, digital stuff, and it's just a better viewing experience over on YouTube. But I figured I would bring in my Facebook audience, get you guys kind of caught up on what's been going on the show. I've been gone for about 2 months, but I'm back. We ain't going nowhere. This is what we talk about. This is what we love to do. Talk about sports, and this is a great time of year with March Madness, the NBA winding down, NFL free agency just kind of is still going on, but it's been big. The NFL offseason has been huge. We'll get to some of that in just a little bit, and then the MLB season is right around the corner as well. At the bottom of the hour, I will give you my Sucka of the week, so you don't want to miss that. You definitely want to stay tuned for that. Sucka of the week. Let's see what's going on in the ball games as we speak now. We had 2 games going on live. Right now it's Oregon 46, Wisconsin 37. About 12 minutes to go in the second half. And Arizona State trails Buffalo 84-61. 4 minutes to go in the second half. And then, like I said, top of the hour, you had the number 1 overall seeded Duke Blue Devils up in Columbia, South Carolina, hosting North Dakota State, the number 1 overall seed. Tar Heels also play tonight against Iona. And like I said, I want to focus on Ja Morant last night. I mean, he put on his show. What did you think of Ja Morant last night? I mean, he was brilliant. Had a triple-double, first triple-double in the NCAA tournament since 2012. And he, you know, what I liked about him last night, he didn't force his shot. He only had maybe 10 shot attempts maybe. And he managed to get that triple-double without having to force the issue, without jacking up a bunch of threes. He just played the game, let the game come to him. I mean, he had about 10 assists in the first half. So it was a very efficient. He's really takes care of the ball for a guy who has the ball as much as he has it. Takes care of the ball really, really well. So I'll talk about Morant. I want to talk about Trey McGowan. Talk about Zion. About an hour he'll have his first ever NCAA tournament game right in Columbia. So I'm sure there's a lot of people making their way from the 864 down to the Metro, or already there right now. But we shall see. But I'm gonna give you my Final Four picks, and then you guys can give me your Final Four picks, and we see what we look like. And you can tell me why. You can comment why your Final Four picks are the way they are, who you like, why you like them, all that good stuff. Comment right here on Facebook, and you can comment on YouTube too if you're watching there. My Final Four picks are Duke, Tennessee, Florida State, Kentucky. So I have 2 SEC schools and 2 ACC schools, and Tennessee struggled today as well for a little bit against the 15 seeded Colgate. So I was sweating bullets. And then Florida State had a battle yesterday with Vermont, so I was sweating just a little bit. And Kentucky played well yesterday, as expected. They blew out Abilene Christian. So my Final Four: Duke, Tennessee, Florida State, Kentucky. So I have 2 seeds and 1 and a 4 seed. Those are mine. Let's see. Like I said, the bottom of the hour, in about 15 minutes, Sentell's Sucka of the week. We'll get into all of that as well. We're gonna get into some NFL trades, free agency signings, as well. At the bottom of the hour about the NBA, probably in the last hour. Hey, but if you're watching me right now on Facebook, hey, feel free to comment on anything that you want to comment on. If you want to stick with the NCAA tournament, you can. If not, you can ask questions about anything you want to. If you're watching me on Facebook, I'm telling you, man, this is okay. This is okay look right here. But if you go over to YouTube, it's a whole lot better experience if you're on YouTube. So you're on YouTube, thank you. I need I need you guys to get a little interactive over there with me. Give me some comments and questions over there. I'll be here every Friday, 6 to 8 from now, for the foreseeable future. For foreseeable future, 6 to 8 on Fridays. Kind of recapping all the week's top headlines, what's happening currently, and get you ready for the weekend in sports. So that is the thought behind that. The 1 day a week, 2-hour show. So I have to run my mouth for 2 whole hours. Pray for me. Let's see. Clint Scales, UNC. That's who you picking to win it all. I mean, that's your pick to win the whole thing. I mean, what are you saying? Are you just saying UNC? I mean, I don't. I need more. I need your Final Four picks. You got Final Four picks. Give me your Final Four picks now. I don't want to wait to the Final Four before you tell me, oh, I had that. That's not how it works. That is not how it works around here. I need the Final Four picks before the Final Four actually happens. So I gave you mine: Duke, Tennessee, Florida State, Kentucky. Those are my Final Four picks. And I got the championship game rematch of an earlier matchup between Kentucky and Duke. So I got those 2 in the title game. Let's see. If you just joined the show, if you missed the opening of the show beforehand, I had to make a speech. I had to give make a statement, and I had to apologize to sports. I had to confess that I haven't been faithful to sports in the last couple of months. I've not put it first in my life. It should be. But hey, we're gonna work past this. Sports and I are gonna work past this. This is what grown people we work past these things. We get over these things. That's what we do. We get through these things. We make things go. Oh my goodness. See. All right. You out there watching now. You gotta. I mean, if you out there watching, then you gotta contribute to the show. With some comments, with questions, with anything you feel free to comment with. Because I know you out there watching on YouTube. Hello. If you're watching on Facebook, hello. So get those questions in, and I want to kind of stay with the tournament right now before we get into the NFL free agency and the trades that happened during NFL free agency. Let's see. Now. Buffalo's up on Arizona State. Oregon is taking the lead against Wisconsin, 48-42. Early today, Virginia gets a win, 71-56 over Gardner-Webb after they struggled early in the first half. Tennessee put away from Colgate late, 77-70. Texas Tech defeated Northern Kentucky 72-57. And then, of course, the upset of the tournament so far and the day, UC Irvine, the 13th seed, upsets the number 4 seeded Kansas State Jayhawks. They were the co-Big 12 champion, and they get beat in the first round. They were missing one of their best players, so you can use that as a excuse. Iowa had a good win today, 79-72 over Cincinnati. Oklahoma just blew the doors off Ole Miss, 95-72. Didn't see that coming. So later on, we have Washington, the winner of the Pac-12 championship, taking on Utah State. Mentioned Duke, North Dakota State. Also, Houston, the number 3 seed, takes on Georgia State. The number 5 seed Mississippi State takes on Liberty, another 12-5 matchup. Mentioned Tar Heels and Iona. UCF and VCU in a 9-8 matchup in the East Regional. And then Ohio State versus Iowa State on this evening. And Virginia Tech versus St. Louis. That's all coming up later this evening. So tons and tons and tons and tons of basketball. Expectations. Shaquille Rose says, "What's the expectations of the Braves this year?" Let me be frank. You know, I'm a very modest guy. I try not to get way too high, when I know my team got something, like I try to stay even keel. Like I don't even want to jump out there, right? Like I don't want to jump out there. But let me tell you something. I feel really, really good about my Braves this year. If we can get some bullpen. Get better bullpen production than we got last year, which was the bullpen was awful, just awful. And you know, perhaps we signed Craig Kimbrell. I don't know if they will or not, but I expect to win the division this year. I think we're clearly better than Miami, who's just a mess. The Mets, they look like they're rebuilding. Now the Phillies got some young talent, and of course they added Bryce Harper, but Bryce Harper is just one guy. He's just one guy. So I feel like a division title. You know, I definitely think we're gonna make the playoffs, whether we'll win the division or not. But I want to win the division. And then now, winning the division last year was a shock to me. I didn't see that coming. And then of course we got swept, just like we probably should have, because we probably were ahead of schedule and wasn't as good as the team that we lost to. But I think we should win the division this year if we get any kind of bullpen help. And the bullpen is not as bad as it was. This team could go far. I mean, if you look at the lineup is really good. 1 through 9, 1 through 8. Lineup is really good. The starting pitching is a lot of depth. You don't have an ace per se, but you got a lot of good pitchers in that starting rotation. You got a lot of depth, a lot of young arms. So man, I like what we got. I like what the Braves have coming through the season. I love it. So yeah, I think the Braves will be really good this season. Thoughts on the Wofford game? I mean, it was sensational last night. I mean, the McGee kid. Well, you know, early on in the game they led, and then Seton Hall come back, takes the lead. So you think, okay, Seton Hall got the lead now. Wofford will just go away, and they just never did. And like I said, I mentioned the McGee kid. He had seven made field goals. Now listen to this. He had 7 made field goals last night. All 7 of them were from the 3-point line. So he hit 7 threes last night. They were good. There's another guy, I can't think of his name. He hit a few threes. They just played well. You know, if you know anything about Wofford all season, they've really been good all season. I mean, they started the season out on this big undefeated streak to start the season. And they just played good. Obviously won the conference, kind of handily, but yeah, I like Wofford. I like what Wofford's doing. So yeah, can they beat Kentucky? That's that. You know, I don't think they can beat Kentucky, but I thought they can give Kentucky a scare early. And then I just think the talent and the length of Kentucky, because you know, truth be told, Kentucky can really defend, really defend, really well. And that's the thing about Kentucky. They can defend you. So people just think of them as this offensive juggernaut type team and all of this. But those guys can really get after it, really defend you. And we'll see what Wofford can do. But really impressed with them last night in that ball game. As again, if you just joined us on the Best Damn Sports Podcast, period. This is Sentell. I am simulcasting right now. So I'm on YouTube over here. You can see me good on YouTube. And I'm also live on Facebook for my Facebook friends and followers there as well. I thought it was a great opportunity to do this for this coming back to get everybody involved on the show, get some opinions from all over the place, YouTube and Facebook. Well, again, if you're on Facebook though, because I'm only leaving an hour, I'm gonna give you an hour on Facebook. Then we're gonna go only on YouTube for the last hour. So you want to make your way over there? All you gotta do, click that link, because I know you seen it on Facebook. Click that link. You come in, you come in on that link. You get there. There's gonna be a big red button that says subscribe on it, and you just subscribe to that thing, and there you go. Voila! You see me with my name, with my logo, all of that good stuff just in your face that you're not seeing on Facebook. Because all you're seeing is my face. You're not seeing this open view. All this, because it looks, it's just aesthetic. It's just aesthetically pleasing. On YouTube, it just looks better. Jeff Gilbert says, nice shirt. See, you can't even see my shirt on Facebook. You can't even see my shirt. You can't even see my shirt on Facebook. You can see my shirt good on YouTube. It says Dunder Mifflin, and what a great company. What a great company Dunder Mifflin is. If you don't know what that is, then if you don't get the reference, then I can't help you. I can't help you. Shakira Rose has been very active on this Facebook. I appreciate him. He's been very active. He said, I feel as though RJ Barrett is a bit overrated for Duke. Doesn't really have a right hand and was expecting to see more with Zion out during the injury. My question is, got a book. My question is, do you think the guy from Murray State has a higher upside than RJ? I think I also do. I don't think he's overrated. I don't think he as good as a player as we thought that he were, because, like you said, he only gets that left hand. He's not ambidextrous. He can't go to his right. He can only go to his left. It seems. He can only make outside shots when he's open and can set his feet. Not really good off the bounce. Disappears in late moments. Not good at the free throw line. But with that being said, I still think his game is suited for the NBA. Now, for a ceiling, do I think Morant has a more of a ceiling? I think that Morant is more unlikely to bust in the NBA, if that makes sense to you. I think Morant game translate everywhere because he don't have to score. Even though he can score, he doesn't have to score to impact the game. As you can see, he can pass well, which is a 6'3" guard, so his size won't be an issue. His basketball IQ is high, which that's something he has over RJ too. The basketball IQ. And I guess that's come from being a floor general, being a point guard. He sees the floor well. He knows the game. And I think that he has a way less chance of busting than RJ. I think RJ is boom or bust. And he has to develop a pull-up mid-range jumper. I know everybody wants to shoot the three and fall in love with it, but if you're not a great three-point shooter, you can't just stand there and jack up threes. You have to develop a little mid-range game when you're coming off those screen and rolls. He has to become a better free throw shooter. But, again, this is a 18-year-old kid, and a lot of times we make these mistakes with these young kids thinking that this is their finished product. No, sometimes it takes a little time, 2, 3, 4 years. You look at a guy right now like D'Angelo Russell. Look at D'Angelo Russell. Lakers gave up on him early. Now, some of that was due to locker room stuff, but they thought he was a bust. Like, they thought the guy was a bust. But 19, 20, back in the day, guys would be in college 2, 3 years, at least, most 3 years. You come out, you're 21 years old, you play a lot of basketball, so you're kind of a finished product. But when you're 19, people are drafting you on potential, what your upside is, like you mentioned, upside, because you're right, because they're going to be drafted on upside. I just think that RJ has a higher upside because he's a wing player. Wing players typically win NBA championships. That's just how it has been out through history. So to answer your question, RJ Barrett has the higher upside. But who has who's less likely to bust, it's the Morant kid. Because he's a point guard who gets it, who understands that running the offense and getting your guys involved. That you can never, that would never not be something that you don't look for in a guy in the NBA. Is that IQ, running the floor, not jacking up a bunch of shots. He don't have to get his shot. Even though, like I say, he having 24 points a game. He doesn't have to get his shot to affect the game. He can rebound because he's a big guard, and he can pass it as well as anybody in the league already. So he's gonna be solid. Upside is RJ Barrett, but for me, you know, I don't care about upside as much as I care about what I see on the floor. And at the college level right now, that kid is better. He's better. If I would rather have that guy right now than RJ Barrett on Duke's team right now. I'd rather have that guy right now on Duke's team, and I would feel like I would go to the national championship right now because he's gonna make the right play. He's gonna run the team. He's big enough to guard. He can do all those things. And he's just, I like him. RJ Barrett again, boom or bust. Even at Duke, it's boom or bust. He's gonna either get 30 or he's gonna get 17 on 25 shots, and that's just not efficient enough for me. I don't like it. I don't like a guy to shoot that many times and not be efficient from the floor. So, that's just how that goes. We're gonna take a break. Come back. Talk about the NFL free agency and all of that good stuff right after this. So do not go anywhere. And we are back. Thanks for sticking with us through the break. Those of you who stuck with us through that small little break, I am back. Before I told you the bottom of the hour, we're gonna give you a sucker of the week. I gotta give you one because it's the bottom of the hour, and I'm gonna promise you that Facebook, if you haven't seen this, it's one of my favorite segments on the program. I'm sure it's one of the favorites of the YouTube fans as well. And you know how we do it around here. It is time, people. Boy, you know what it is.
Can you dig it, sucker?
That's right. It is time for Sentell's Sucker of the Week. And you know what? It's some suckers. You know what I'm saying? What it is. Some suckers of the week. And my suckers of the week are some of these NBA fans. If you haven't heard or haven't seen here lately, these NBA fans have taken upon themselves to think that they can say or do whatever the hell they want to do because they pay for a little stinking ass ticket to say whatever they want to say. But I'm here to remind them that just because you buy a ticket doesn't mean you can say whatever the hell you want to say. Well, if you haven't heard, last week, well, this past week, because it's Friday, there was an altercation in Utah involving a fan basically telling Russell Westbrook, and I quote, told Russell to get on your knees like you used to do. I'm not making that up. This guy actually said this during the game, at a game, told Russell Westbrook to get on your knees like you used to. If I can't think of a lot of things that are just that much disrespectful than that. How disrespectful is that? And it has no place, nowhere, not in sports, not in a public arena. That has no place nowhere in life to tell another man to get on your knees like you used to. These fans think because they pay a few stinking ass dollars for some tickets that they can just say whatever the hell they want to say without repercussion. And good for Utah Jazz, who their fans have been known historically, to put it nicely, prejudice. I'm not gonna call it what I've heard people call it. I've heard some people refer to it as one of the most racist cities, Salt Lake City, one of the most racist cities in the world. But I'm not gonna. I'm not. That's something I heard. I'm not gonna say that. I can't speak from experience. But that was just a horrible look for a fan to say something to an athlete while competing. But I think it's just a horrible thing for anyone to say to anyone. And then we had another incident involving Blake Griffin, where a fan allegedly called him boy. Boy, code word for the N-word. Anytime you hear that directed at a African American or a minority by a Caucasian person, that is code word. If you don't know, that's code word for boy. Boy is code word for the N-word. That's low key. That is low key N-word, saying boy. So we have two occasions, NBA fans, one tells Russell Westbrook to get down on his knees like he used to. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest with you. If they had said it to me, we'd still be fighting right now. They would lock me up. Russell obviously can't go into the stands and beat this guy up. He can, but he can't win, because if he goes into the stand and beat the band up, we're gonna blame the player, because we hold our sports athletes, for some reason. We hold them to a higher standard. We hold sports athletes to a higher standard than we hold our own political figures, than our own elected officials. We hold our players to a whole certain different standard. I don't know how. I don't get it. It's okay, because Russell didn't go out there and kill the guy, and kudos to him, because I would have beat the brakes off of him. Telling another man to get down on his knees like he used to. I mean, yeah, this is about as offensive as it can get. You fans need to understand, just because you buy a damn ticket doesn't mean you can say whatever in the hell you want to say. Sit there, root for your team, boo the opposing team, and shut the hell up. Don't be saying things like get on your knees like you used to, or boy, code word for the N-word. If you don't know, code word. So go to the damn game, eat your popcorn, cheer on your team, shut the hell up. I'm sick of this. This has happened all within the last week. Fans crossing the line, thinking they can say and do whatever the hell they damn well please. And you can't. I know you think because you bought a ticket, you can. So, for those reasons, of those fans, they are, without a doubt, Sentell's Sucka of the Week.
Can you dig it, sucker?
Yeah, that was Sentell Sucka of the Week. That just, I mean, you talk about just that pisses me off. That really does. That just pisses me off. I wish a mother. wish a mother would tell me to get on my knee. I wish I would. But anyway, let's move on. Again, we're gonna talk some NFL. We're gonna talk, a lot of NFL stuff has taken place. Free agency. We've had the NFL combine. The draft is next month, so we get into that phases of lies being told, pro days, all that good stuff. Smoke and mirrors and stories. Just how this time of year gets, and we're gonna focus on some of these moves. Let's go back. And let's get to the trades first. Let's get to these two huge trades that we had involving two high-profile receivers in the NFL. And we'll start with that. We'll start with Antonio Brown. As most of you know, unless you were living up under a rock, Antonio Brown was traded to the Oakland Raiders, soon to be Las Vegas Raiders, for a 2019 third-round pick and a 5th-round pick. And if you remember, last year during the NFL draft, the Raiders traded for the Steelers Martavis Bryant for a 3rd-round pick as well. And they get the top 3 receiver in the league for a 3rd-round pick. I want to say, I want to know where you guys stand with this, who you side with, Pittsburgh, Antonio Brown. I'm more the mindset. I'm with AB. The Steelers have let Ben Roethlisberger get away with murder. Now Antonio has some fault in this, but I'm gonna side with Antonio on this because of how the Steelers have treated Big Ben, and it was backed up, and everything that Antonio was saying about Big Ben for us having the owner's mentality and can get away with certain things, it was proven. It was backed up by the GM coming out and saying that Big Ben is the unquestioned leader and has the right to say whatever he wants to say. Never heard an organization in my life say that publicly. Robert Kraft, Bill Belichick, never. Tom Brady has 6 championship rings. I've never heard them come out and say he's the unquestioned leader and has the reign and the right to say whatever the hell he wants to say. That's basically what the GM of the Steelers said about Big Ben. He can say whatever he wants to say without recourse, and it kind of rubs people the wrong way. And it definitely rubbed Antonio Brown the wrong way. Now again, Antonio Big Chest Brown, as he wants to be known as. You call him Big Chest Brown, and I gotta say, Antonio Brown made a power move. He didn't really have any leverage. He was on a contract for 2 more years with the Steelers. They didn't have to trade him, but the situation had deteriorated so bad. But kudos to Big Chest Brown. I mean, because he got traded reportedly to the Buffalo Bills early in this process. He told them no. The Steelers acquiesced. They didn't send him to Buffalo. Thank God for praying for Antonio Brown. He didn't get to go to Buffalo. He wanted to go somewhere else, the Bay Area. They sent him to Oakland. He's happy to be there, but he managed to get himself out of a situation he didn't want to be in. And he told him he was not going to Buffalo. So I mean, I think Mr. Big Chest Brown did a good job. And then not only did he get to Oakland, they gave him a new contract, front loaded it, bunch of guaranteed money up front, and Mr. Big Chest is happy. So Mr. Big Chest Brown has got what he wanted. How you feel about that situation? I would like to get your thoughts on the Antonio Brown Steelers situation. How did the Steelers come out? I think Antonio Brown wins this situation because they only get a 3rd-round pick for arguably the best receiver in the league. Definitely top 3 receiver in the league because you just got a third for Martavis Bryant in the offseason, during the draft last year. So I think the Steelers came out looking bad on this situation. The Raiders, I'll get into them in a minute because they made a bunch of moves. They made a bunch of moves since then and trying to improve their roster. So we'll get to the Raiders in a little bit, but Steelers didn't look good in the situation. They don't look good in the situation. And Big Ben, Big Ben speaks for himself. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Usually NFL teams and owners have all the cards. You see the stuff in the NBA, forced trades, and the players have most of the leverage in the NBA. But the NFL doesn't run that way. They don't operate that way. They're usually bigger. They usually bigger than the player. But this is a case where AB kind of forced his way out of here. Told him he wasn't going to Buffalo. And I don't blame him for not wanting to go to Buffalo. Not that Buffalo's a bad place to go. As far as I know, it's not a bad place. Upstate New York. I'm sure it's lovely in the wintertime. Said no one ever. But he gets to go to the Raiders. And they done a lot of things in the offseason, and we'll get to all of those free agent things in a minute. But Antonio Brown, if you want to discuss that, you can. If you want to comment on YouTube, I see you over here on YouTube. I can see your comment. I can see you on Facebook as well. Another big trade. Big trade in the NFL. The Giants and Odell Beckham Jr. To the Browns for a first-round pick and Jabril Peppers. You want to do the whole trade? They basically traded Odell Beckham Jr., Olivier Vernon to Cleveland for Jabril Peppers, Kevin Seitler, and the first and the third round pick this year's draft. Just a huge move. I gotta applaud the Cleveland Browns because forget it, they're going for it. They're in a win now mode. They feel like they have the quarterback to take them where they want to go. Baker Mayfield showed you last year that he has it. It seems that he has it. Jarvis Landry. Now you add Odell Beckham Jr. And Joku, which is a freak of a tight end. Just an absolute freak of a tight end. They got Kareem Hunt also, but he'll be out the first 8 games. But still have Nick Chubb. Antonio Callaway came on late toward the season. Defensively, they are loaded. Myles Garrett and a crew of other players that they have on the defensive side of the ball. They look good. A lot of people have came out and said the Browns are now your NFC North favorite. We can get there in a minute, but let's talk about Odell a little bit more. The Giants give up on Odell Beckham after they give him that big, huge contract before last season. He signed this big, massive deal, and this was out there that the Giants were trying to trade Odell. Clearly, the Giants are in rebuild mode, despite what their GM may tell you. They are in a rebuild mode. Their GM is completely lying if he tells you otherwise, that they're not in a rebuild mode. They are in a rebuild mode. They have got, Landon Collins left in free agency. They could have tagged him easily, decided not to. They did bring back Eli Manning. That's whatever. Shaquille Rowe he's just being very active. He's very active on his Facebook. He's very active. I appreciate him. He's very active. He said the Giants are arguably have no direction, letting Collins go, OBJ, then coming out saying Eli still has more in the tank. Going to be an interesting draft for them to see what they do. Yes, they got an early pick in the first round. They got 2 first-round picks now. You got to figure they go quarterback. You have to. Dwayne Haskins probably should not get past them. I think they're 6. I'm not sure. They're 6 or 8. 6 or 8. I'm not sure what they're in the draft. But you would think they'd take a quarterback right there. So I don't know what Dave Gettleman is talking about. Eli has more in the tank. I don't know what he's talking about at all. No clue. They did sign Golden Tate, and we'll talk about more of that when I get to the free agent part of this. But just shocking that the Giants trade Odell Beckham Jr., 26 years old, right in the middle of his prime. But it's clear that the Giants thought that he wasn't worth the headache and that they are clearly in a rebuild mode. Clearly in the rebuild mode, despite what their GM says, despite what Super Giants fan Demetrius Terry might tell you. They are in rebuild mode. Fact, they are. But kudos to Browns, man. You know, now they could go out there and fall flat on their face like in typical Cleveland fashion, but I'm ecstatic what the Browns are doing, going for it. They have a lot of talent on that roster. I think Odell and Jarvis can be really good with it. And Njoku in that middle of that field, oh my goodness, they could do some. They could do some things. They could do some things for sure. With that, so those are the two big trades involving those receivers. If you have any comments, questions about, and want to discuss AB or OBJ, we can talk about that. I'm gonna get into the free agent signings in just a second because some big money deals were being made while in my absence, while I was gone. Big deals were being made in the NFL and free agency. But first, let me go through something. Let me go through the scores of these NCAA games before we get into those free agency. Get into the free agency part of this. All right. Over Buffalo did defeat Arizona State 91-74. And Oregon just went on the route. Wisconsin 72-54. This game was really, really tight early on. Just tight. And Oregon pulls away early on them. At 7:10 Eastern Time, the number 1 overall seed Duke Blue Devils will take the court against North Dakota State in Columbia, South Carolina at 7 p.m. A game has started. Washington Huskies are taking on the Utah State in an 8-9 matchup. The game is right now on TNT. Jump over, check that out. I mean, you don't have to. You can stay on your phone, watch, still get back to me. We're very interactive on this show. We try to stay we try to stay fan friendly on this show right here. Let's kind of get into this. Let's get into the NFL free agency a little bit. No, let's go on. Let's go on and get it. And go through some of these signings. Start with, obviously. Okay, got a question before we get into this thing. I'll tell you, Shaquille Rose, Shaq. This has been very active on this show today. This is a very active guy. He has a question. OBJ was putting up big numbers with a terrible O-line and a terrible quarterback. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for basically saying can OBJ put up big numbers this year. Absolutely. With the weapons that they have and a quarterback who can actually get him the ball where he needs to get it at. Oh yes, no doubt. This offense is built to do some things. Now, would he outrank those guys? Because those guys are really, look at the AB, you look at a Julio and a Hopkins. Those guys really don't have a number 2. They don't have a number 2 like OBJ gonna have. Because Jarvis Landry is a legit number 2. I mean, he's been a number 1 for teams before, but you put him at number 2. And man, you got to make a decision. I mean, because where you shifting coverage at, and then you put Njoku out there in that middle of the field, Antonio Callaway in the slot. Man, you picking your poison. But I expect this offense to destroy people. If Baker, the guy that we saw last year, and he improves his game, this offense will be a top 3 offense. And you get Kareem Hunt back after week 8 with a Nick Chubb. I mean, this offense can be that. Listen to what I'm telling you. Jarvis Landry, Kareem Hunt after the suspension, OBJ, Jarvis Landry. That looks like some fantasy football stuff right there. That looks like fantasy football. OBJ and Landry and Njoku. That looks like fantasy stuff. I don't think he'll put up as big numbers as Hopkins or Julio, because again, those guys they have number 2, but I don't think they're better. I think Jarvis Landry is the best number 2. You look at AB. Well, AB did have Juju, but he doesn't have Juju anymore. I think the Raiders did sign a receiver. I'll get to that in a minute. They signed Terrell Williams, if I'm not mistaken, from the Chargers. He's good. Julio has Sanu and Calvin Ridley. They're good. That's good. That's a good punch. But I just Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry is the legit. Hopkins has no number two without Will Fuller, and we don't know what Will Fuller gonna be like when he get back. But he's gonna be up there. I mean, he's just that good. He's just that dynamic. I mean, if he can stay healthy, if OBJ can stay healthy, I mean, he's gonna put up huge numbers. I mean, in this offense, Freddie Kitchens, the new head coach who used to be the offensive coordinator, he got a ton of toys to play with. And those look like this is like a fantasy. This is like fantasy football right here with those type of kids right there. Watching on Facebook, a few more minutes on Facebook, then I'm going only on YouTube. So if you want to get over there, you can before I get off, Facebook, Aaron. When I come back, I'm going exclusively on YouTube for the last hour of the show. So if you're on Facebook, get over to YouTube because I will be gone in a matter of minutes. I will be getting out of here and going over to YouTube only, and we'll get into those free agency because I thought I was going to get there. But top of the hour, we'll take a break at the top of the hour. Well, you know what? I'll take a break before I get to the top of the hour. Facebook, if you want to watch the show, continue to watch the show, you got to get over there to the YouTube channel. Click on that link on my page, and you'll be right there. You subscribe, and you'll be right there watching the show, and it'll be a lot more aesthetically pleasing. I'm trying to tell you, you would like looking at this show a lot better on YouTube than you do on Facebook. It just does. It comes off better. It looks better. I'm telling you, you're going to appreciate that I did this for you. You're going to appreciate that I did this for you. But we're talking NCAA tournament, NFL offseason, trades. The free agent signings have been big. Of course, I mean, we got games all throughout the night in the NCAA tournament. We also, in the last half hour of the show, probably going to do talk some NBA, talk some Lakers, talk LeBron and the Lakers, all of that on the second half of the program. Been really fun doing the simulcast, getting all my Facebook viewers to come in and check out Sentell's Intel, the hottest sports podcast in the South, the best damn sports podcast, period. You know, I am the sensational Sentell Whiteman. For an hour, I gave you a sucker of the week during that first hour. Where's the link for the YouTube? It's on my Facebook page. It's a link on my Facebook page. I posted it. Just go to my Facebook wall, and the link is there. Just click the link, hit subscribe, and you be right there on the program. You be right there watching me. It's not that hard. It's very easy. Jeff Gilbert gets it. He's already over there watching. He can see the Dunder Mifflin shirt. So get on over there. At the top of the hour, I'll be on YouTube. Gonna take a break. Facebook, I'll do this again. Next week we'll do this again. I'll be on Facebook for the first hour. But this next hour I'm gonna be exclusively on YouTube. So go to my page, go to my wall. There is a link right there. Go over there. You hit subscribe, and then you just go to YouTube, and you can watch me on YouTube. And I'm gonna take a quick break on YouTube. I'll take a quick break, and we'll be back at the top of the hour. And we'll get into the NFL free agency, some NBA as well. Facebook, it's been real. Hit me up, catch me up over on YouTube right now. And I'm back. The magic of TV. I'm back. Like I said, we're gonna get into this some of this NFL free agency money that was spent when the free agency season started. The new league year started a couple weeks ago. I think it was March 12th. Wednesday, March 12th. So a lot of people signed some big, massive contracts, and this is why you want to be free. Because when you're free as a free agent, people are gonna overpay you because you're free, and they have to up the value. This is why teams use the franchise tag and try to re-sign guys before they hit the market. Because once you hit the market, you get paid ridiculous amounts of money. So this is why you want to get to free agency. This is why you want to get there. So, look at some of these deals. But let's start, most important position, quarterback position. And the biggest free agent quarterback on the market was Nick Foles. Nick Foles signs with the Jacksonville Jaguars. 4 years, $88 million. $50 million guaranteed total. $22 million annually. To say Nick Foles struck gold would be an understatement. That Super Bowl win obviously gives him leverage. But, outside of the one season he had with Chip Kelly, where he had a great stat line where he threw like 2 picks all season, like 28 touchdowns, some ridiculous thing like that. And then the couple seasons with Philadelphia Eagles, coming in for Carson Wentz, having that Super Bowl run, and he started a few games this year, and then he ended the season after Carson Wentz was hurt again. It's not really much, Nick Foles has showed me. I'm not big on this signing. 4 years, $88 million to a guy, $50 million guaranteed to a guy who really hasn't had but one full NFL season where he was really good at quarterback. Now you can say some of that was, the team he played with because he went to a bad team. The Rams, I think he played for the Rams. After the first stint with the Eagles, Jeff Fisher is an idiot offensively. So yeah, he had his numbers wasn't good. Maybe the team was bad. Maybe the system was flawed. But Jacksonville is obviously in a win now situation. A team who made it to the AFC Championship game 2 years ago, and then just had a miserable season this year. And they clearly thought that Blake Bortles was the reason for the season that they had, and he was probably 75% of it. Jacksonville has since released Blake Bortles. Don't know. I don't know about Nick Foles. You guys have comments, and what you think about Nick Foles and Jacksonville? Do you think it was a good signing? Will it pay off in the end? Will it pay off in the end for Jacksonville? 4 years, $88 million. We talk about any of these free agent signings. They're your team or not. You can let me know what you thought of the situation, the signings. And I'm not a huge fan of Nick Foles. 4 year, $88 million, $50 million guaranteed for a guy who's had one good NFL season at quarterback. Now, that's title run withstanding. Because if you look at it was only the last 3 games. Right? It was only the last 3 games, correct? Because the first game he didn't play well in the playoffs. And then he just kind of caught fire after that. No. Actually, it was just 2 games. Because I think they had first round bye. But if you look at it, it's just those 3 games. I mean, it's just the divisional game, the NFC Championship game, and the Super Bowl, where he was just brilliant in the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship game. And now he's getting $88 million, $50 million guaranteed. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Nick Foles is the guy. But Jacksonville thinks so, and I guess that's all that matters. They paid him. I didn't pay him. They did. So that's where we are. So he gets his money. Another big offseason storyline was where would Le'Veon Bell end up after sitting out the season, not signing that franchise tender from the Steelers that would have paid him $14.5 million last year. he ends up signing with the Jets, a 4-year, $52 million, $27 million guaranteed. Not totally what he was looking for. At the end of the day, because he's only making $13 million annually, but he says he's happy with the deal, and of course that's what he's supposed to say. And I kind of agree with him sitting out last year. I know $14.5 million is a lot. He probably should have signed it, and then just, hey, every week I don't feel good. I got my ankle's not right. I'm not 100%, because you never just turn down $14.5 million. I mean, I get why he set out. I feel you. I respect it. Because you want the guaranteed money. You don't want these guys to use you up and then be done with you, because running backs have a short shelf life, shorter than any other position, and you have to make your money when you can make it. Now, again, you go sign the $14.5 million tender. Just don't play. Just don't play. Come in, sign the tender, because he had always, week 11 to sign this thing. So you come in and you just sign the tender, and you get your money, and then just say, hey, I'm hurt. Injury reserve. I mean, not injury reserve, but just I'm hurt. Show up on the injury report every week. Because you just don't want to give away $14.5 million. You just don't want to give away $14.5 million. You just don't give that kind of money away. That's what he did. He gave away $14 million. $14.5 million. That is a lot of money just to give away. Again, I get where he's coming from. I know what he was trying to do. And I'm still not mad at him. But I think he could have played that differently than not just getting you $14.5 million. Get your $14.5 million after week 11. They probably wouldn't even played you. They probably would have put you on injury reserve at this point. And I agree. Don't let them use you up without paying you. And it's ridiculous. The NFL teams should not be able to franchise tag you twice. Period. But because of the players kind of bowing down to the owners at the CBA, this is what has happened. They looked at a lot of other things in that agreement, and then look at the final detail stuff like this. Like being able to be franchise tagged multiple times is not a good look. You should be able to be franchised once. That's it. After that, you gotta make a deal. So that's on the CBA. So Le'Veon gets the short end of the stick because of the CBA. But he's got $13.5 million a season, but he only got $27 million guaranteed. He was looking for the Todd Gurley type deal, where Todd got an absurd amount of guaranteed money, bukus of money for Todd Gurley. So that was the deal that Le'Veon was looking for. He didn't get it. But moving to some of the other free agent signings, big deals. Landon Collins, the safety from the Giants, mentioned him earlier. Giants could have franchised him, chose not to. Then Daniel Snyder gets involved, opens up his wallet, as he's known to do. He gets the safety 6-year deal, $84 million, $44.5 million guaranteed. Guy's over 25 years old, Pro Bowl safety, more of an in-the-box safety, not as good in coverage. But, you wonder what the Giants were doing. They could, like I said, they could have franchised it for a lot. That number would have been a lot less. Maybe not now. Well, it would have been at the time of the signing. It would have been. The market has been reset by him. So now, when you franchise a safety, you got to pay big bucks because Landon Collins got paid. But leave it up to Daniel Snyder and the Redskins to shell out bukus of money like no other organization has ever has, because that's what they do. They shell out a bunch of money. So Landon Collins is now the highest paid safety in the league, highest paid safety ever. 25 years old. He goes from the New York Giants to the Washington Redskins. In the division, so they'll see each other twice. Let's see, more big deals. Earl Thomas, speaking of safety, he signs with Seattle. People had linked him. I mean, he signs with Baltimore. People had linked him to Dallas, but Dallas just doesn't have this kind of money. Baltimore gives him a 4-year, $55 million deal. This guy is 30, coming off a broken leg. He gets $32 million guaranteed, and he got all of that at the time he signed. So he gets all his money in the first 9 months. Kudos to Earl Thomas. That is an awesome contract. Get all of your money in the first 9 months of this deal. So he gets all of his money in the first season of this deal. So, you know, he's making $33 million this year. That's roughly what he's making. And that's why you look at go 4 years. You know, I look at the 4 years now and I think, well, he got $32 million up front. So if he has a bad season, they can cut ties. They probably won't have a big cap number on him going to next season. So if you look at it, they front load the contract. Smart from a business sense for them. So Earl Thomas sounds a big deal. Another interesting cat, Trenton Brown, the left tackle that starred for the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. He signs a 4-year, $66 million deal, making him the highest paid tackle in the league. 16.5 annually. He get $36 million guaranteed money. Just amazing. I mean, this guy was a 7th round pick. Gets bounced around 49ers, lands with the Patriots, and plays left tackle for the New England Patriots. They win a Super Bowl. He hits the market, and he hits big, and he becomes the highest paid tackle in the league. You know, he basically not a journeyman, but he was a right tackle. Most of his time at the 49ers, he was a right tackle. They traded him at the beginning of the last season. He goes to left tackle, turns into a stud, and there you go. He hits the lotto, and now he's the highest paid safety. I mean, highest paid tackle in the league. Got him. Played the system really well. Anthony Barr, linebacker from Minnesota. He wants to have a comment on my Mr. KDD asks, what are your best, worst free agency signings thus far? I mentioned Nick Foles already. I think that's worst. Worst is a harsh word to use, but if you're gonna use in that term, I think that's the worst signing to me because you gave the guy $50 million guaranteed, you know, $22 million a year annually, for a guy who has, again, one full season of good quarterback play. He has one good season. Now, the title run withstanding, 3 games, 2 of the games he was brilliant. 1 he was okay. And you gave a guy $22 million a year, $50 million guaranteed. And I don't get that. I just don't. For is my best free agency signing. You're looking for impact guys. I would say no. Because to me, the best sign is, it ain't about just the money. It's about the fit. It's about the fit and the impact. Not really about the most money. What can you do to help the team out? I look at a move like Preston Smith going to the Packers. A huge upgrade. They haven't had a pass rush in years. This guy can get after the quarterbacks. He's 26 years old. They gave him 4 years, $52 million. They make $13 million annually, $16 million guaranteed. But I look at that move, that's a great move. Because they haven't had a pass rush and they want to get after the quarterback in years. To get after the quarterback. You look at a guy like Roger Salfo, the guard that went from the Rams to the Tennessee Titans. They've been looking for a guard forever. They don't protect Marcus Mariota worth a damn. That's a good move to me. I think Kansas City getting Tyrann Mathieu. I like that move. That's a really solid move. But I look at Preston Smith. I I'm not gonna really put Earl in there because I don't know what Baltimore is doing because they let C.J. Mosley go too. If they had kept C.J. Mosley, I would think that's a great move, you know. But losing C.J. Mosley, that's like a plus minus. You didn't get better. You lost one of the better middle linebackers in the game. I don't like that move. I don't like them not having C.J. Mosley. He signed with the Jets. But if you want to look at a collection, I like what the Jets have done. You know, Le'Veon, C.J. Mosley. They almost had Anthony Barr. Barr almost signed with the Jets till he had a change of heart. But the Vikings paid him really well. 5 years, $67 million, $33 million guaranteed, 13.5 annually. So, but for me, I look at Nick Foles is probably the worst. And worse of a sense because they paid him so much money. $50 million. They paid him $50 million. Guaranteed money. And I'm just not a believer. I'm not a believer. Now, if you're telling me Doug Peterson was coming along with him, maybe. I just don't trust a guy who has one really good season. That was years ago. That was Chip Kelly Eagle days ago. I mean, Chip Kelly's not UCLA. That's how long ago that's been. So I just don't know about that. I like I love the Preston Smith move for the Green Bay. I like Trent Brown going to the Oakland Raiders. They paid a lot for him. That's a good move though to me. I like Collins. I don't like the money they gave him. That's a lot of money for us in the box safety. If he was Earl Thomas at 25 and he got this, I can fly with that because Earl can do everything. Collins is more of an in the box safety. Doesn't really cover well. So we shall see. 49 gave more to a guy who has proven less. I agree with that. I mean, I agree with that. But we talking about the most important position. If we miss on the linebacker, he's talking about Quan Alexander. We signed him to 49 signed him to a big, huge contract, 4 year, $52 million. But if we miss on him, nobody's gonna go back. Okay, that's the reason why we had failure or success. You know, nobody's gonna say that about Quan Alexander. Which, you know, when healthy, he's a really good football player. I think he's a small inside linebacker. But this contract again, $25 million guaranteed up front. It's 4 year, $54 million. I was standing corrected. 4 year, $54 million. If we miss on him, you know, he's not going to be the difference between, what if 49ers suck because Quan Alexander didn't live up to his contract. If the Jaguars fail in the next couple of years, it will be directly linked to Nick Foles. Directly linked to Nick Foles. There's no question about it. They are basically saying we are one piece away. This is much like last year with Minnesota Vikings. They signed Kirk Cousins. That did not work out well for Minnesota. It didn't because Kirk wasn't the guy. He wasn't the guy. So yeah, Quan Alexander could fail. I'm thinking you're speaking of Quan Alexander, obviously, not D Ford. D Ford looks like a guy. Pass rushers are premium in this league. And he shows that he can get after the quarterback. So you're gonna pay those guys. That market is set at a number it should be. So you gotta be speaking on Quan Alexander, and he's coming off an injury. The more concern I have more is the injury. Coming off the injury, giving him that kind of money. But again, it's a 4 year deal. Probably can get out of it in year 2 without taking a substantial cap penalty. But again, if the Jaguars fail, it will be directly attributed to Nick Foles failing. $50 million. I just don't like $50 million. That's why I don't like $50 million guarantee. I don't like that. Oh well, let's see. That was, I think, the $40 at that point when they signed Jimmy thought they thought the last 7 games he gave us a spark. I wouldn't have paid him that much. So again, that jury's still out because if he comes out, he got hurt. He got hurt the first 3 games of the season, so he didn't play the whole season. Roughly the whole season. If he doesn't play well this year, that is attributed to being a failure. But you asked me my worst signs of this year, so I don't know why we had to get into Jimmy G, because we're not talking about Jimmy G. We're talking about 2019 free agency class, and Jimmy G ain't a part of the 2019 free agency class. Just because your guy is the guy that I dubbed as the worst free agent signing, don't mean you take shots at my guy. Right now, that is a horrible signing for the 49ers, unless Jimmy G plays well this year. But this year, free agency so far, it's Nick Foles. It's Nick Foles getting $88 million. And only having one season. But if you want to go back to 2018 free agent signing, yeah, Jimmy G is on the hook right now. Jimmy G clock has started ticking already. Because for one, he had to show he can stay healthy after the tear his ACL in the third game of the season. He didn't have to play well. Period. Point blank. It's to justify getting $90 million guaranteed. You have to play extremely well to justify getting $90 million. So you're right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Nick Foles has definitely accomplished more than Jimmy G. No question about that. But both have so much to prove. So much to prove. Let's get into the free agency list. Still in here. Tyrell Williams, again, the Raiders making moves. They get Antonio Brown in a trade. They signed the big talented receiver Tyrell Williams from the Chargers for a 4-year deal. Gave him $44 million. They get Trenton Brown, mentioned the left tackle earlier. They paid him a lot of money. So the Raiders are spending a lot of money right now ahead of the season. I think Derek Carr gets one more season to prove if he can be the guy. But there's other contracts in here that, again, you want to be free. Because when you're free, people will pay exorbitant amount of money to have you on their team, and you're maybe not even worth that much money. I'm not picking on guys because, hey, your agent got you a good deal. Hey, bless him. Bless him. But I'm looking at these guys out here, and this segment going to be called like this segment going to make me look like I'm a type of guy who's picking on a certain race of people in a stature. And I'm not doing that. Because I look at Adam Humphries. Fine little receiver. Fine little slot receiver. He got 4 years, $36 million for the Tennessee Titans. A slot guy. A slot guy. I mean, had some nice games. Did some nice things for the Titans when he was there. I mean, for the Buccaneers, but 4 years, $36 million, $19 million guaranteed, $9 million annually for a slot guy that's not named Julian Edelman. He's making more money than Julian Edelman. Let that sink in. Then we go out here to another slot guy, another slot guy out here, Cole Beasley, 30 years old. He gets 4 years, $29 million, $14 million guaranteed, $7.25 million annually. Cole Beasley. That Cole Beasley. From the Dallas Cowboys. He's getting a lot of money. I'm like, who is Cole Beasley and Adam Humphries' agent? I mean, I know there's some teams that you look at these teams, Tennessee, Buffalo, smaller market teams. You don't attract a lot of free agents, so you have to overpay more than likely to get the guys you want. But $9 million a year for Adam Humphries, $19 million guaranteed, $14 million guaranteed for Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley got $14 million guaranteed. That just defies all logic to me. But hey, kudos to those guys for getting their money. How do you think my Cowboys are doing in free agency, loving the potential of this team? They're not doing anything in free agency. But that's by design. They have no money. Let me say this again. They have no money. Now, you can go look at any site you want, and it'll show you they have like $20 million in cap space. Yeah, that's nice. But they got to pay Dak. They got to pay Zeke. They got to pay Jalen Smith. They got to pay Amari Cooper. So when you and they just franchised DeMarcus Lawrence again. He's at a $17.5 million on their books this year. So yeah, it may seem that the Cowboys have money, but they don't. This is why the Cowboys haven't done much in free agency, and their fans are restless and keep saying, "Why aren't we signing anybody? Why didn't we sign Earl Thomas? Did you see how much money Earl Thomas got? The Cowboys don't have that kind of money. They have it in theory, but they also know that next year they gotta sign Zeke, they gotta sign Dak, they gotta sign Jalen Smith, they gotta sign Amari Cooper. Dak Prescott is on a very, very friendly deal this year. $2 million. He's only making $2 million this year. And I just told you, Nick Foles just got $88 million, $22 million annually. Nick Foles is making $20 million more than Dak Prescott. So, if you Cowboy fans think you should be out here spending money on other players, you don't have any money. You have a good, talented roster. And now you got to find a way to massage this cap next year because you have to sign Dak, Zeke, Jalen Smith, and Amari Cooper. And DeMarcus Lawrence at some point had to get a long-term deal. The long-term deal would actually help you more against the cap than you do franchising this kid. Which is the second year he's franchised. I believe you have a holdout coming. I really do. DeMarcus Lawrence is a premium, outstanding DN. He sees the money getting paid to these DNs. He sees it. Look at this season so far, DNs. Trey Flowers. I didn't even mention Trey Flowers earlier in this segment. But Trey Flowers, the DN, the New England Patriots, Detroit signs him to a 5-year, $90 million deal. $56 million guaranteed, $18 million annually. Now, this is Trey Flowers. He's a really good defensive end. He's not better than Marcus Lawrence. Now, because Trey is more of a disruptive. He stops the run. He'll give some sacks here and there. But he is not Marcus Lawrence. And this guy's getting $18 million a season. DeMarcus sees this. D Ford gets his money. D Ford get paid. I mean, these guys are getting paid at his position at premium, and he's having to deal with this free agency for the franchise tag 2 years in a row. 2 years straight, he's dealt with the franchise tag. But the Cowboys have no money. They probably gonna have to go in and reconstructure the tackles deal. I can't think. Tyron Smith deal. They just gave Zach Moore his money last year, so he's not gonna rework his deal. Now Travis Fredericks, God, hopefully he comes back from whatever that serious thing he had going on health wise. Maybe he reconstructed his deal. Maybe he has to retire. That comes off your books. But there's just no money. Sean Lee did his deal over to get you a little bit of salary cap relief, but that wasn't much. There's no money. I mean, but that's what happens when you have a talented roster. So, shout out to Stephen Jones, because he drafted these young, talented players. But now, they all coming up on contracts. They're all about to have contracts come up. Dak after this season, got to get paid. Amari, after this year, he has to get a deal. DeMarcus Lawrence, I'm telling you, he's gonna hold out. He sees the money getting passed around. He saw what Trey Flowers got, and I don't think, and no knock on Trey Flowers, I don't think he's nowhere near as good as DeMarcus Lawrence. I don't think so. That's just my opinion. But I don't think this guy's nowhere near as good as him. So, they got decisions to make. But I like the roster. The roster is super, uber talented. Dak has to keep improving. But I think the sky's the limit for him. If Dak takes that step, he has to improve significantly next year. I gotta say, now he's good, but he gotta take that next step to being great, elite. Can't just be good, because if he's just gonna be good, that means everything around him has to work perfect. Because you can win it being good, but you have to have an elite defense to be good at quarterback. You have to be having an elite defense. If your defense is just top, you gotta be great. But to be good and win, you have to have a top 5 defense. Can the Cowboys be a top 5 defense? Probably can. But you just look at this. This money is ridiculous. This is ridiculous money, man. Ridiculous money being passed around. I mentioned C.J. Mosley, Jets 5-year, $85 million for an inside. $85 million for an inside linebacker. $51 million guaranteed. $17 million annually for an inside linebacker. And the Jets had signed him and Anthony Barr. They've been paying $30 million in linebackers. But I mean, you know, they were the second. I think had the second most money in free agency. The Colts had the first, and they haven't really signed a whole lot of players. They haven't really did a whole lot. I think they picked up Justin Houston today, who was cut from the Chiefs. So, but they haven't really spent a whole ton of money, except for signing back their own players. Yeah, it's some money being thrown around here. We're gonna take one more break. I'll get to your question after this break. We'll take one more break. Then finish this last 30 minutes up of the show. One more break. Don't you people go anywhere. This is Sentell's Intel, the hottest sports podcast in the South. The best damn sports podcast, period. Yellow, I am back for the stretch run of the show. The last half hour of the show. Hopefully get some questions in here. We'll continue with the free agency thing. Also, we'll talk some NBA before we get out of here. Some NBA before we get out of here. Shaq had a question before we got off. Shaquille Rowe had a question before we get off right here. He's as the Duke games first. As Duke's first game approaches tonight, if they don't win at all and they don't make it to the Final Four, is the season considered a failure, or has it been a successful season for you? He asked me personally. It's always a failure if we don't win at all. Very blunt. You know, this is Duke at this point now, and you know, with the classes you bring in, and I readily admit that I would rather have a team full of upperclassmen. This is why we don't hardly win it. This is why we don't win it anymore. Because we rely on freshmen to carry us, and that just is not the Duke way. Even in 2015, when we had a bunch of talented freshmen, there was a senior, Quinn Cook was on that team, and he kind of stabilized us. He could do that. We have upperclassmen, but they stink. You know, them guys they're not any good. They can't lead you anywhere. Quinn Cook was the stabilizing force on that 2015 team. Now, there were way more talented guys. Jaleel, Justice, Jones, and then Grayson Allen was a freshman also on that team who kind of really won that game, if you remember, in 2015. But they always a failure. We don't win it all. It's always a failure because Look at the roster. Now, we don't have a lot of depth, top 5. We got 3 of the top 5, top 4 of the top 10 players in the country out of high school. And that's great. But when you're at Duke, you got Coach K. It's all about winning championships. 5-4 is nice, but I still call it disappointing season when you don't win at Duke. That's just the reality of the situation. You are Duke. There is an expectation to be great, and if you don't win at all, it's a failure to me. And I don't expect to. Honestly, I picked us to win it because I think we're capable of winning it. I don't think, personally, I wouldn't. If I bet on it, would I bet on it? No. To win it all? No. I wouldn't bet. I wouldn't bet no money on it. Again, I prefer those upper class led team who have people who've been in the program 3-4 years. That's what wins. Guard play and great coaching wins. We have a great coach, and I love my guard. He could be the reason why we win it all. But there are 2 guys on this roster as freshmen that I can't, I can count on Zion. Whether he's scoring or not, I know what he's gonna give me: defensive effort, rebounding, hustle plays. And he's gonna give. What Zion gonna give you. But R.J. Barrett and Cam Reddish, I don't know what they're gonna give me when it matters. Now they're gonna blow out their opponent tonight, and then Sunday, we'll see how that goes. But I don't know what I'm gonna get out of Cam Reddish and R.J. Barrett. I don't know. I know R.J. capable of going off. I also know he's capable of shooting 5 or 22 from the field and turning the ball over at the most opportune time. Cam Reddish the same way. Disappears for stretches of the game. Just goes away. Now, he has to be on the floor because he's the only guy who can shoot. And you have to have a shooter. I worry about 2 things: 3-point shooting and the free throw line. That free throw line is the most important because as a team who gets to the basket much as we do, we shoot terribly from the free throw line. Those are scary things. Young team who can't shoot free throws and don't hit the 3 consistently in this day and age in NBA. That's a reason for a lot of concern. Now, the upside is you got 4 of the top 10 players in the country on your team. They are very, very talented players. They're very talented players. And can they win it all? Absolutely. Will they win it all? We shall see. But if they don't win it all, is it a failure? Absolutely. It is always a failure. It's always a failure. They've been ranked top 5 most of the season. They only lost twice. They've only lost 2 times with a game when Zion and the whole team has started and finished the game. They've only lost twice in that. Well, they only lost once in that scenario, and that was to Gonzaga. So they only lost 1 time where they had a game where they had all of the guys were healthy from beginning to end. That was against Gonzaga. So they lost 1 time. So the expectation should be to win it all. But it would be a failure if they don't win it all. To answer your question. I want to end the show talking about a little bit of hold on. You know what? Let's go to the bracket right now because those late evening games have started. Let's see. While Duke is trailing by 4 to North Dakota State early in the halfway through the first half, down by 4. Washington leads Utah State late in the first half, 34-25. Houston and Georgia State are underway, 15-3. Houston early in the first half. And that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Like, Duke, they'll win this game, but you're down 4 to North Dakota State. Just the inconsistency of a young team. First NCAA tournament game, probably some jitters, and just expect to see that. But I want to talk a little bit about the NBA. Let's focus mainly on the Lakers. I mean, it's the talk of the NBA world. I sit here dumbfounded and just shocked that they're not going to make the play. That they're not going to make the playoffs this year. Before LeBron got the injury in December, they were 20-14, the number 4 seed in the Western Conference. During the injury, they were 6-11 without LeBron. Now I didn't count Rondo was out too, but just without LeBron, they were 6-11. He comes back at 26-25, and they never recovered. The Anthony Davis trade saga, Lonzo Ball get hurt. I mean, it's just a number of things. Now Ingram is shut down, Ball is shut down, and it just turned into an absolute cesspool. I just don't have the answer for it. LeBron takes a 75% of the blame for this season. I didn't like a lot of his post-game press conferences. I haven't liked his body language a lot this season at all. Too much I, too much me, too much they. You signed up for this. And I put a lot on LeBron plate, and I think a lot of him, think of the world of LeBron, and I just don't think at this point in his career that he could just take guys. I think those days are over where he could just take a team that isn't that good and put them on his back. I just don't think he can do that anymore, especially in this conference. At his age, I think he thought that he could do it, and then the season started, and once they went 6-11, he panicked. They panicked as an organization. But we need to go ahead and make a move for Anthony Davis. That backfired. Those young kids never kind of got over that, and then he wasn't leading them, and it just kind of fell off the rails. It kind of just went down the tube from that point on. So again, I blame 75% is blame LeBron. 25% the Magic, Luke Walton, for all of those people putting the team together. I mean, I guess you could say that. I agree with that. I think the Lakers, if LeBron doesn't get hurt, yeah, we might be having a different conversation. But as we stand, we having to have this conversation as it stands, because these are the facts. This is what happened. And now we got to assess blame, because that's what we do in the sports world, because somebody has to be responsible. It has to be blamed for this. So we have to figure out who to blame for what's going on. So again, 75% to LeBron, 25% to Magic, Pelinka, and Luke Walton. I don't think the players respect Luke Walton at all. I think he's a nice guy, but this team does not respond to him. And I blame Pelinka and Magic for putting this team together around LeBron. No shooters. I mean, if you look at LeBron's career, he always had shooters around him. This team really doesn't have any shooters. But like I say, he doesn't get hurt. We don't know what happened. They were flying high at that point. But does Lonzo get hurt? Does Rondo get hurt again? Does Ingram get hurt? I mean, a lot of things go into it. But at the end of the day, I'm not in excuse making business. I'm in the results making business. And the results are the Lakers are in 11th place in the Western Conference. 10 games 10 games out of the 8th spot in the Western Conference. And tonight, I think if they lose tonight, they are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs if they lose tonight to my Nets, who are playing fabulous basketball. And tune in for that, to see D'Angelo Russell. I mean, I can get it. Shaq says 35% to LeBron, 20%, 20 to 45% blame to Magic. Yeah, and then the players don't respect Walt. They just don't. They just don't respect him. You can tell how they carry themselves. They don't respect Bill Walton. And I think a lot of it, if you look at LeBron, which, LeBron is hard to coach to begin with. Then you look at a guy like Luke Walton, who was probably in the same draft class as him. And Lonzo, not Lonzo, but you look at Tyson Chandler and Rondo. those guys was in the league with him in the league at the same time as him. They like, this guy ain't no good. Can't that's how they look at him. It's like he's no good. He wasn't good. This guy was not a good basketball player. We were better. I'm better than him, or we were better at the time, or whatever. And that's how that goes. So they don't respect him at all. But I put a lot of this on LeBron, dog. He picked the team, and I told you 2 years ago he was going to LA, and I knew he was going to LA. I had that reason he was going. I had that feeling he was going to LA a long time ago, and it was already in play. But he gotta eat this one. He has to eat this one. Yeah, they'll get a free agent. Which one? I don't know. They got enough money. They got enough money to go out and get a free agent. I might have enough to get two. I'm not sure. They definitely have enough to get one. Will somebody want to come play? There's a lot of negativity swirling around the Lakers right now. A lot of negativity. Oh yeah, you got a nice little list of free agents. I don't think Jimmy maybe a possibility. I can't see Kyrie going back. No, KD ain't going. Clay leave once KD leave. But if KD leave, they're gonna max out Klay Thompson. I think he stays. KD's gone. I don't see it. Kimber's not a really good fit for them. Kawhi, Jimmy. Kawhi or Jimmy would probably be the only two options. And if you get Kawhi, that puts you right back in the top of the Western Conference, especially when KD leaves Golden State. And then you get Ingram. Hopefully Ingram comes back, and Kuzma's improved. Don't know what's gonna happen with Lonzo Ball, but I thought Ingram was starting to find his game. So you get those guys, Kawhi, you right back in now. You Lakers right back. If you get Kawhi, you right back in the game. You right back in there if you get Kawhi. But I just don't know. I'm still shocked. I said I'm shocked. Like I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I'm just shocked at how bad they've been. I mean, despite everything that's happened, the injuries and all of that good stuff, I just can't. I just can't wrap my head around a LeBron-led team not making the playoffs after they've been there so many years in a row, and just it's shocking. It's almost shocking to see. And maybe it might turn out to be a blessing in disguise because they weren't going to win the championship this year. Maybe you could take some miles off LeBron. Maybe he comes back fresh and rejuvenated. All of those other things. And he hears all the people talking about him, how he's declining. All of these things that he's listening to right now. So maybe he'll come back. You can get a motivated LeBron for the first time ever. A motivated LeBron. He hasn't been like that in years. I mean, it just was a foregone conclusion the last 7-8 seasons he was going to the finals, and it was. But just shocked, man. I'm not even like a fan. I'm a Nets fan until I die, but shocked that the Lakers is bad. I'm shocked. But let's get into the playoffs about to start in the NBA. Let's kind of go through the standings a little bit. Eastern. We'll start with the Eastern Conference first. Number one, the Milwaukee Bucks, 53-19, best record in the NBA. I think they have the MVP. I think Greek has been just amazing. Giannis. Now they have some injuries. Malcolm Brogdon is a big injury. I think he's out 6 to 8 weeks. That is a huge injury. That is a big time injury. If you haven't watched the Bucks play, he's a big part of their lineup and what they do. Guys averaging about 15 points a game, 7 assists or so. That's huge. And they got when he is in the lineup, they have a legit starting five. Now I worry about the bench a little bit, but that starting five when Brogdon's healthy is as good as anybody in the league. And they had the number one seed right now. At number two, Toronto. I know what you people are thinking. We've seen this movie before, and we have. But I think, adding Kawhi, the emergence of Siakam is the difference. It ain't about Kawhi. It's Siakam. They get Marc Gasol at the trade deadline. Kyle Lowry been banged up, but we know what he brings to the table. They have a deep team. I like them. I think they are very capable of getting to the Eastern Conference Final. They could get to the NBA Finals. I think they're that good. I think Milwaukee and Toronto both could get to the NBA Finals. Number 3, Philadelphia. They top, starting lineup. They starting lineup like one of the best in the league. I mean, they first 5 is one of the best. But when you put that monster out there at center, Joel Embiid is the best big man in the game, and it ain't even close. It ain't even close. Maybe Karl Anthony Towns is a distant second. But the best big man in the game is Joel Embiid. I mean, he's a walking double-double. And one thing I like about him, he hit his free throws as a big man. He hits his free throws. I don't see the depth as much because one thing at Tobias, you look at it, they start out with Ben, Redick, Butler, Tobias, and then Embiid. Now that's one of the best starting 5s in the league. That starting 5 can rival any starting 5 in the NBA. I don't know about depth. They lost a lot of guys, Covington, in some trades and things they've done. I don't like their depth as much as I did last year. But again, you had this starting 5. It's kind of similar to the Warriors. Yeah, you got this kind of starting 5 that you got to suffer somewhere. And the Warriors have no bench. This is what has happened to the Warriors. Their depth is gone. They don't have as much as they used to. But Philly is good. These Eastern Conference playoffs are going to be interesting to see. At 4, Indiana, they've done a great job since the Oladipo injury of keeping themselves relevant. Bogdanovich and Darren Collison has done a great job for them. Sabonis has been good off the bench. Turner's really good. Thaddeus Young. This is an Indiana type team. This is what they blue collar type Indiana basketball team. They ain't got no stars out here. But they grind, they play hard, they compete. At 5 is Boston. I think most of us expect Boston to be a whole lot better. But, once you add Kyrie and Gordon in there, it changes everybody's role. I don't think Jason Tatum has played as well as he did last year. Jaylen Brown hasn't played as well. But that's, again, you add in Kyrie, that takes guys' offense back. They have to learn how to play with Kyrie. I think the playoffs, Celtics are still dangerous because they have Kyrie. They have Kyrie. They have a superstar. And when you get in the playoffs, superstars win playoff series. It's just fact. It's just the way it is. They have a bona fide superstar in Kyrie Irving who could drop 40 and carry you to the finals. He can do that. Now, the other guy got to find their game. Tatum, Brown, and Gordon Hayward got to give him something. He got to give him something. At 6, Detroit, Blake Griffin, Drummond. They have Casey, who used to coach Toronto. I like him a lot. This is a really gritty team. They play well. They got a nice little bench. Luke Kennard come off the bench. Galloway come off the bench for them. They got some good players. At 7, the aforementioned Brooklyn Nets, led by D'Angelo Russell, and a whole cast of characters. Just a gritty team that plays hard, moves the ball, and got them snipers. Got snipers everywhere. At number 8, the Miami Heat, who's playing their best basketball of the season, coming along good. Move Gordon Dragic to the bench and Hassan Whiteside to the bench. I think that move has really triggered them. Kelly Olynyk has been playing out of his mind since moving to the starting lineup. They got Bam Adebayo, who he starts. Jason Richardson's an okay player. Moving Justin Winslow, the point guard. They did that early in the season. He's kind of flourished in that role. And now they got some depth. Once you put Gordon and you put Whiteside on the bench, it gives you depth. The Eastern Conference playoffs are going to be absolutely fun to watch. They're probably better than the Western Conference playoffs. But on the outside, looking in the East, the Magic and the Hornets, time is ticking down, running out on both of those teams. Not much time left, but those teams are right there. They are 2 and 3 games out of the last spot of the Eastern Conference. But those Eastern Conference playoffs, I'm looking forward to them more because, obviously my team's in the Eastern Conference. But You know, you look at the top five. Those Eastern Conference teams are loaded. Who don't want to see Greek Freak, Kawhi, Embiid, Boston is Boston. So you got, you know, some powerhouses in here and some really good players you want to see. At 1 in the Western Conference, no surprise, Golden State Warriors. Number 2, Denver Nuggets. Just a really balanced basketball team. You know, Jokic do a lot of good things, but they got Jamal Murray at point guard. They got Gary Harris, Will Barton. They got some talented guys, and they're deep. They come out the bit with Mason Plumlee and Malik Beasley. A couple more guys I can't name offhand, but they have some depth on this team. The Nuggets do. I don't take them seriously at the 2 seed as a championship threat, because again, you have to have a superstar at some point, and Jamal Murray is not a superstar, because he would disappear on you in a minute. At 3, Houston, they playing well. They got James Harden. You know what he do. But they got to find a way to get away from that, what they're doing right now. This James Harden shoot the ball 35 times a game is not going to win in the playoffs. Because if he had to play the way he's playing right now in the regular season to win games, he'll be done he'll be dead before the second round of the NBA playoffs. He cannot continue. He's great. He's a great offensive basketball player, one of the best I've ever seen. But he cannot continue to play like this if the Rockets want to win it all. Can't do it. That's Portland at 4. Dame Lillard, CJ McCollum is out. That's a huge injury. But Yusef Nurkic is really good for Portland. I like him a lot. OKC is they're at 5, but they're falling off. Having a little tough stretch. Paul George was in MVP consideration, but he's kind of tailed off at the second half of the season. Russell is streaky as it can get. San Antonio Spurs are playing really well. They number 6. You know, Pop got LaMarcus Aldridge and DeMar DeRozan. This kid White is really good. Utah at 7, really good basketball team. Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert. They got some guys that can do some things. And at 8 is the Clippers, who, you know, basically were trying to throw away their playoff spot because it didn't benefit them to make the playoffs. And here they are in the damn playoff spot. Great job by Doc Rivers. This is a gritty bunch. Their best player is Lou Williams, who comes off the bench. But they have a lot of guys. Gallinari, Marquez Harrell comes off the bench. He plays good. Gildas, Alexander, the point guard, he's really good. But that's gonna be your 8 because the Sacramento Kings have fell all the way back 6 spots. So your 8 teams in the playoffs in the Western Conference are pretty much set. Golden State through the Clippers. So those are pretty much set. Those 5 through 8 is dicey. It can move a lot. All 4 teams have 30 losses, so and 42 wins. So that could change a lot in the last couple of weeks of the NBA season. So there you go. Caught up on the NBA season. And man, oh man, these 2 hours have flown by. I am gonna get out of here, man. What a great show it has been. Thank everybody for tuning in. Hey, man, I told you I was going to give you these 2 hours every Friday. You know what this is. The best 2 hours of sports talk going today. This is the best damn sports podcast, period. It's the hottest sports podcast in the South. I'm the best host in the world. The sensational Sentell Wideman, man. Again, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Going to get out of here. Maybe get another question in here before we get out of here. Right up against it. The 2 hour mark. Gonna try to close this thing out, but that, you know, I gave you everything. Let's give you another score update from the tournament. Before we get out of here, give you some update. Duke and North Dakota State, 31-27 now. Duke about to end the first half. Houston's over Georgia State, 31-21. 4 minutes ago in the first. Liberty and Mississippi State. Mississippi State leads by 3 with about 9:26 to go in the first half. And later on tonight, we got the Tar Heels versus Iona, UCF versus VCU, Iowa State versus Ohio State, and Virginia Tech versus St. Louis. Those are your matchups that will end the night in the college basketball first round. So, with that, this has been the hottest sports podcast. Here. I want to thank everybody again for tuning in. If you watched on Facebook for that first hour, appreciate you a lot. And this has been fun. Been really, really fun. I think I had this much fun. 2 hours has flown by. I will see you people next time. I am out. Do you feel the